I call this June 29th, 2026 meeting of the New Berry County School Board of Trustees to order. We have a quorum present at this moment. It looks a little like we're missing a few, but Miss Lake and Mr. Gray are on their way. They're running a little late. And Miss Templin is actually out of the country on vacation, but she's going to join us by Zoom and by phone when we get to our regular meeting in just a little bit. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Wait, let me back up.
Okay.
Dr. Anderson, are there any amendments to our agenda? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
No.
And now we will move into the public hearing of our 2026-2027 general fund budget. Mr. Haven.
Thank you all for being here.
I did, yeah.
Buddy, do you have it?
Yes. Turn to see this on.
Thank you. All right, going to our public hearing. As is what we talked about in our work sessions and first reading, this is where we stand for the FY26 budget. All right. Now, from first reading, there's been a couple changes in revenues, and I'm going to go through those. The changes are with the local revenue estimates. The miscellaneous revenue is going to be increasing from 100 to 140,000 from first reading, and that's through our Victory SC funding. All right, total local revenue should increase about 1.4 million. Our state revenues are increasing 558,000. That's a decrease of 167,000 from first reading, and that's based on the 135-day student count and the funding that went along with that with the Senate projections. We're not going to get quite as much as we had in first reading. So there's state revenue changes. Right. And in transfers, we're going to see an increase of 52,000 to that 362,773 number, and that's due to the state aid EIA increasing from the House projections by 52,000 to the Senate projections.
So you said that's going to be an increase of
Yeah,
52?
increase. All right, and highlights from our first reading: teachers receive $2,000 per cell plus step. All other district staff receive a step on their respective scale. $600,000 increase in facilities and maintenance to make up for increased costs for utilities and custodial costs. Suspending 2 senior level positions at the district office, that will save $205,000. And the difference is a projected use of fund balance of $1.57 million, and that's with no increase in millage. And discussion and our questions can be had now, and that's how that's broken down on those sheets that we saw from our work sessions.
Mr. Haven, is the Victory South Carolina funding either earmarked, designated, or restricted? Is it? Can we use it any way we want to if we put it in revenue?
No. Now, some of these are services that we're currently offered that we're just going to get more reimbursement for that we probably haven't seen in the past. But we are doing a little bit extra with that, but a lot of that services we were already doing without getting reimbursements for.
It's pretty much designated in it.
Yep.
And I heard you say, but I just want to make sure I heard correctly. All staff will get something in terms of a bump.
Unless they are capped out on their step scale.
Okay. Do you know how many staff offhand that is?
I do not, but I would say a couple dozen probably. Maybe more. That's just a guess.
But if they haven't, they're going to get the step, correct?
If they haven't maxed out, they will get their
Right,
step.
Everyone is getting continue to get their steps if they have not maxed out.
Yes, ma'am.
And they max out in how many years?
So for the classified, maxes out at 25, principals max out at 12, assistant principals max out at 22, and teachers max out at 28.
Just to clarify, that in our budget sessions, we did discuss in the future, looking at our pay schedules and making them more, so that we wouldn't have a dozen people that would not get a pay raise. And so adjusting maybe the years or something about the salary schedule.
That's something the board could always talk about, yes. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
And for those dozen or 2 dozen, maybe we can keep those folks in mind, and mid-year, we can look to see where we stand with the budget. Maybe offer them something since they didn't get.
Yep. If the board wishes to do that, we could talk about that, yes.
I'd like to just share with the fellow board members some of my objections to this budget. We kind of went through the work session kind of quick, skipped some places. So we started with a budget that was about 500, well, DJ's first page says, last year we voted for a $530,000 deficit to balance the budget, and we expect to end up with 1.5 million for this current year. The year before that, we ended up with about a $2.6 million loss of the fund balance because the budget ran over. So we go into this budget. Again, my biggest concern is the baseline that it sets for next year. So this is where we'll be starting, and of course the big part of it is salaries. We looked at one budget where it was a whole harmless agreement where everybody got a little something, nobody got as much as they wanted to have, and I understand that. But the things that have happened recently, I just wanted to, I know all of you know that, but I just thought it was worth bringing out in a budget hearing, and that is how the state is funding now. You know that charter schools have almost been a priority, and the formula has really worked against us. But if you listen to the winners in the election, one of the first things they tell you is that we're going to vote to eliminate the state sales tax. So I think anybody with any common sense knows if you eliminate 6% tax on all the sales in the state of South Carolina, that really shrinks the pie. And so the amount of money that's going to be divvied up is going to be affected if the sales tax is restricted. I think before they can completely abolish it, there's going to be a lot of different lobbyists going in and getting caps put here and caps put there. And then the second thing they all say is that we're going to cut your property tax. And when you look at that program, but what we know they've already done with boats, we're going to experience that this year from January on. But when they eliminate property tax, that for us is $4.5 million in this budget. If they eliminate that, then we'll be handicapped that much more. So I just think we're going upwind in what we're trying to do. And for me, I would like to keep the deficit as low as we could. I think we do have a plan, but I think when you go, this budget is like $1.6 million, and is 1.6, and the other one was 900,000. So I just wanted to share that with you because I just think it's worth talking about.
Is there a way to understand how last year, I like what you brought up. I remember we were 538 thinking we were only taking from the fund balance, but it ends up 1.5. How did that happen?
If
Yeah.
you look at last year's budget, Ms. Dowd had a lot of items that were actually listed on that page, but she didn't actually include them in there, saying that we knew we were gonna have this kind of increase, we were gonna have that, and when we ultimately ended up paying those, it did come out of fund balance.
Yeah.
She removed them to the side column
Yeah.
in the budget. It was kind of like
the facilities maintenance contracts and the CPI increases and summer school, that was all taken out. We knew we were gonna do those things, they were gonna add to the deficit. The other thing is there's $1.38 million of fund balance approved expenditures by the board that have been spent in this current budget, which leads to increase in the deficit. That includes painting, which we're doing now. Y'all approved that last year. We had some left over. We're doing some more painting in schools. The furniture replacement in the middle schools. And then classified pay per the classified bump they got in the fall, that little stipend they got, then the Christmas bonus. None of those things were budgeted. And that comes out to, I just looked at that before this meeting, around $2 million in expenditures that weren't budgeted in this thing. And so with that, if we can really hold the deficit to 1.5 million, we've actually come out ahead if you talk about the things that weren't approved that are in this budget. In the current year budget, not the one we're talking about in this hearing.
So there aren't any little things that are pushed off to the side that you anticipate? I mean, you mentioned summer school, and I remember that conversation from last year. We have nothing about summer school in this year's budget.
No, and I left it out just because I was looking back, I don't know if it was ever in the budget. I always thought that was kind of done outside of budget. And in the future, I think Dr. Anderson has talked about really wrangling those things into the budget so we can really project that out. Now, we do have a little bit of savings in summer school this year because we utilized a software for some of our middle school. We didn't have people, so that was a little bit of a savings, but I'm still projecting we spend about $100,000 on summer school this year.
But the point, Mr. Hayden, is last year, those items were not included in the budget. This year, you've included those in the budget.
Not summer school.
Except
for summer school. Yeah, but a big part of the deficit this year, what I'm projecting out, is the fund balance expenditures. You know, there's always going to be some things that can be absorbed into a budget, but not when we, spend $1.3 million on furniture. You know, those kind of things can't be absorbed in a general fund budget. So.
I will say, I think you made a reasonable estimate of revenue, and to the best of my knowledge, I think you covered most of the known expenditures.
Yes, sir.
I think you used the term worst case scenario one time. You know, that's a little bit comforting, but at the same time, it looks like we're hemorrhaging money.
Yes.
That concerns me. I know that the State Department took over a school district, I think it was Marlboro, and one of the board members on PBS, and he said he'd been a long time board member, and he said the problem was that everybody in the community knew everybody, and they just couldn't bring themselves to not give everybody a pay increase, and they knew they were running a deficit. Nobody wanted to lay them off, and he said now they're laying them off and closing schools. And I don't want to be a pessimist. I'm just saying money doesn't just magically appear. If you don't start managing this, it's not going to just pop up. They kept thinking they were going to get grants and do some other things like that, but everybody's out with their hand right now. And so that's the environment that we're in as a public school district.
They just also had excessive turnover in leadership, which when new leadership comes in, they don't know what the plan was for old leadership, so you lose money that way.
Yeah.
That's kind of some of their, at the State Department, I was in Marlboro a lot, so I know a lot about their situation. Anything else? Any other questions?
Okay.
Right. Yes.
It's 5:26. We have to play executive sessions for 6, so do we adjourn and come back in here at 6? That's what I think, that's what we do. Okay. All right, this concludes our public hearing of the 2026-2027 general fund budget, and we will conclude this part of our meeting, and we will come back at 6 o'clock to start and go into executive session.
2 minutes.
We have 2 minutes, guys, so. We return to open session. Do I have a motion to move into executive session to discuss employment recommendations and updates, hirings, and separations?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll be back. Miss Templin is on vacation, actually in Europe tonight. She Zoomed us an executive session, and she's gonna join by phone. So if you hear my phone ring in just a few moments, that's what Dr. Anderson was telling me, it's gonna be Miss Templin. And Miss Lake was here with us, but she wasn't feeling well, and so she has gone home. All right, Ms. Berger, would you lead us in our invocation, please?
Heavenly Father, I want to thank you first and foremost for the freedom that we have to gather in this country without fear of repercussion from our government. As board members, we're charged with representing the parents in their desire to see that their children receive a strong education, which includes the life skills and civics understanding to become engaged and thriving members of our society. To this end, Lord, equip us to listen well to our community, various fellow board members, and the professionals in our schools so that we can excel in our role. Help us work toward collegial outcomes when we may not agree with each other on how best to accomplish district goals or financial expenditures. Keep always in the forefront of our minds what is best for the students, and let that be what guides us on our daily decisions. We ask this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'd like to welcome all of you that are here with us this evening, and we'd also like to welcome our media that is watching us online. Right, is there any action from executive session?
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the administration's recommendations for hiring.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We got you, Ms. Tim. All right, and now we move to the best part, I believe, of our meetings, for special recognition, and we have a lot.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Anderson, and members of the board. Tonight, as you can see, we have quite a few students and leaders to recognize for outstanding achievement at the state level. We'll start tonight with our 2025-2026 Bennie Bennett Education Scholarship recipients. Dr. Anderson and Ms. Metz, if you'd like to come forward as we welcome these recipients. Our late superintendent, Mr. Bennie D. Bennett, was a passionate advocate for public education. The school district of Newberry County is proud to continue Mr. Bennett's legacy of unwavering commitment to faith, family, and the students of our great district through the Bennie Bennett Educational Scholarship Program. Scholarships are awarded to students pursuing higher education degrees at four-year institutions, as well as those enrolled in two-year or technical colleges. Recipients were selected through a competitive application process based on established criteria and through a thorough committee review. We are proud to announce 5 outstanding students as the recipients of the Bennie D. Bennett Education Scholarship. From Mid-Carolina High School, Leora Lambert. Kirsten Long. And Kirsten, if you will stay at the front until we finish off. Maddox Stribble. From Newberry High School, Ariel Stevens. And Robert Dowd III. you all will please gather together for a quick photo of our Bennie D. Bennett Education Scholarship winners. Thank you. Let's give one more round of applause, please. Next, we will recognize our Mid-Carolina High School Track and Field 3A State Championship Awards. 7 students from Mid-Carolina High School competed at the 2026 Track and Field 3A State Championship meet in May. Coach Harris, if you will go ahead and come forward, and then students, we will call you up as well. Coach Harris, thank you for your service and leading your track team. Our recipients for boys track: Noah Fulmer, first place, pole vault, 3.8 meter. Will Hawkins, second place, pole vault, 3.8 meter. Aiden Ferreira, third place, pole vault, 3.65 meter. Joining them from the girls track, Molly Gainey, second place, 400 meter hurdles, 1 minute, 7 seconds. Emery Simpson, second place, pole vault, 3.05 meters. Brooks Walker, third place, pole vault, 2.6 meter. And if you all would please come together for a quick photo. Sure, absolutely. Okay. If I could have Blake Richardson come forward, pole vault coach. And Russell Warren, our sprinters coach. If y'all will come forward, please. And thank you both for your service as well, leading these athletes. Now, if you'll come together for a photo.
Thank you.
Next, we will recognize our Whitmire Community School Girls Varsity Softball 1A Upper State Champions. The Lady Wolverine softball team fought hard this year, finishing their season with a 23-7 record. They were named region champions and then went on to defeat Wagner Sally to become district champions. In the upper state bracket, the ladies defeated Louisville to bring the 1A Upper State Championship trophy home to Whitmire. These girls step on the field each day and give it their all. This is what made their season so magical. The softball team looks forward to next season, where they hope to bring home the 1A state championship to Whitmire. I'm going to call our athletes forward first, and then we have all coaches listed as well. Tamisha Epps. Kristen Seraphone. Kinley Epps. Chloe Hicks. Raylan Vikers. Brielle Whitmire. Caitlin Brooks. Allie Corley. Autumn Gillum. Kinsley Hood. Ariana Jenkins. Holly Robertson. Aniston Alexander. Nadia Hill. And Shelby Sin. We'd also like to ask our team manager, Nathaniel Bowers, come forward. Okay. Head coach, Andrew Campbell. Assistant coach, Kaylin Bowers. And assistant coach, Michael Clemens. And if you all will try to come together as close as possible for a quick photo.
Yeah, we might just do one of these like
2 rows.
last three. There we go. Good job.
Yeah, windows.
And there we go. That's perfect.
No, you're fine.
Mike, I need that too. There you go. All right. Got it. Congratulations.
All right. Let's give all of our students another hand. How about that? All right. The School District of Newberry County proudly recognizes Dr. Lynn G. Carey for receiving the prestigious South Carolina Association of School Administrators Lifetime Achievement Award in honor of her extraordinary career and lasting impact on public education. Throughout more than 30 years of education, including 27 years here serving in our school district as a teacher, principal, district leader, and assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction, Dr. Carey has championed innovation, instructional excellence, and student success while mentoring countless educators and leaders. As Dr. Carey retires from the School District of Newberry County, we celebrate a remarkable legacy of service, integrity, and dedication that will continue to impact students, educators, and communities throughout South Carolina for years to come. Dr. Carey, even though she and I have only had the opportunity to work together for 1 year, I certainly will always cherish and have a deep appreciation for our many professional and personal conversations. You will be missed by our district. However, the impact, again, as stated earlier, that you've made will continue in years to come. Please know that. Congratulations to your SCASA Lifetime Achievement Award, and thank you again for your service to the School District of Newberry County's family and our county as a whole. Congratulations. Come on up.
I did want to tell you how grateful I am for all the students and their families that came down here tonight to let us tell you from a school district and a board standpoint how very proud we are of you. Most of you are great students academically and good athletes too, so we just can't be proud enough of you. So thank you for all you do.
Mr. Bledsoe, I'd be remiss if I did not add to the girls softball team at Whitmire. I could not help but notice as you ladies were coming, I thought, gosh, I didn't know that state champion softball players could be so beautiful. That was the first thing I noticed, what beautiful girls you are. And we do thank you so much for how well you represented our district. And I actually have an 8-year-old grandson that was not gonna rest. His dad had to bring him to Whitmire to see that game when you were playing. So we tried to tell him, probably won't be any room, where are you gonna put your chair? But my son had to take that 8-year-old so that he was rooting for the Wolverines. All right, and congratulations to all our track winners as well. I had Coach Harris actually coach some of my boys in track. And Dr. Carey, I'd be remiss when he said you'll always be remembered. I was cleaning out some bedrooms and found some yearbooks. And I did. I got a little chuckle. I found some delightful pictures of all 4 of my sons. Dr. Carey was their principal. And you know, sometimes how they make a principal dress up for different occasions, that I got a good chuckle. So yes, you'll always be remembered in my household as well. All right. We had one person sign up this evening for public forum. It's Miss Jane. Oh, well, excuse me. Thank you for reminding me, Ms. Bledsoe. As normally our custom, we would love for all of you to stay for the rest of our meeting, but if you would like to be excused, we understand. I was about to, Mr. Bledsoe, because he looked at me like this. Miss Temple, can you hear us? Okay. All right, we had one person sign up this evening, and Miss Jamie Hall.
I answered both.
Miss Jamie Dowdall.
Good evening, members of the board. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. This past year, my daughter transitioned into middle school. We all know that middle school is a significant adjustment for students, but for our family, it often felt less of a transition and more like being thrown into the deep end. Within the first week, she was spending nearly 2 hours on homework each night. Assignments were sometimes unclear, transitions between classes felt chaotic, and she was carrying a backpack that weighed more than 20% of her body weight. As parents, we also struggled. Emails frequently went unanswered, and it was often unclear who the appropriate person was to contact for specific concerns. During the first few weeks of school, there were 2 lockdown or secure mode events, yet little information about the implications each of these had on our child's school day was not readily available to parents. My daughter also experienced interactions with some staff that she perceived as yelling or unkind.
Regardless of intent, those experiences affected how safe and supported she felt at school. A positive school climate is about more than academics. Students learn best when they feel respected, encouraged, emotionally safe, and that should be an expectation in every classroom. After meeting with their teachers and speaking with the principal, I felt optimistic about the concerns we had. I joined PTO, served on School Improvement Council, and participated on the calendar committee because I wanted to be a part of the solution to the problems we were experiencing. Unfortunately, as the year progressed, many of the same concerns continued. My daughter increasingly struggled with the overall school environment. We began exploring other school options, but the reason we chose to stay was because alternatives did not offer a band program. As someone whose own band experience helped shape who I am, I know firsthand the lifelong value of a strong music program. Band taught me discipline, teamwork, leadership, time management, confidence, and responsibility, skills that have benefited me throughout adulthood and my career. I wanted my daughter to have the same opportunity. Instead, I found myself increasingly frustrated. Communication about performances and events was often incomplete or difficult to find among the multiple communication platforms families are expected to monitor. We attended the winter concert expecting to watch the middle school perform, only to discover the high school was also performing. While that was certainly not a problem, it came as a surprise because it had not been communicated. During the performance, I observed student behavioral issues. Afterwards, I began asking more questions about what band class looked like on a daily basis. I was disappointed to learn that many of the grades were based primarily on participation rather than evaluating students' individual musical knowledge, playing ability, and skill development. There appeared to be few incentives for students to practice outside of class or demonstrate measurable growth throughout the year. As the second semester continued, communication regarding band events remained limited and often lacked important details. Much of this information also distributed through one of several different communication apps we were expected to monitor throughout the school year for various classes and activities. When we attended the spring concert, I was saddened that the 6th grade band performed for only 5 minutes during a program lasting more than 1 hour. A concert that had been rescheduled due to athletic conflicts but was moved to an evening during state testing. In speaking with other parents, I also learned that students in South Carolina are able to receive PE credit for participation in high school band. Unfortunately, our district has not yet completed the process necessary for our students to receive the same benefit. As the saying goes, it's often the little things that add up. None of these concerns alone would prompt me to speak tonight. However, taken together, they paint a picture of opportunity for improvement. I shared many of these concerns with school leadership, and those conversations were received respectfully. Tonight, I leave the board with actionable recommendations. 1, please prioritize implementation of PE credit for students enrolled in band. I understand the deadline for this upcoming school year is approaching, and timely action will allow current and future students to benefit from this opportunity. 2, establish a district-wide communication standard. I recommend the district establish standardized communication framework that includes limiting communication to 1 or 2 district-approved platforms whenever possible. Ensure all approved communication platforms are accessible to staff and students on district devices and Wi-Fi. This is an issue for parents working in the district. Provide parents with clear communication expectations, including which platform should be used for what type of concern or question, and a reasonable expectation for staff to respond. Consistent communication systems would reduce confusion, improve parent engagement, and strengthen partnerships between families and school. 3, create a district feedback system. Establish a centralized feedback process that allows students and parents to submit concerns. Anonymous submission options to encourage honest feedback without fear of retaliation. Opportunities for both students and parents to participate. A process for administrators to regularly review feedback, identify recurring concerns, and address trends before they become larger issues. And lastly, I ask the board to direct district leadership to strengthen administrative oversight of all instructional programs, including electives such as band. Students should be evaluated on measurable growth in knowledge, skill, and individual performance. Teachers should receive regular feedback regarding classroom management, communication with families, instructional quality, and their ability to provide a structured, productive learning environment. Every student deserves a classroom where expectations are clear, behavior is well managed, and learning is measurable, and communications with families is consistent. Those standards should apply not only to core academic classes, but also to electives where students develop lifelong skills such as discipline, responsibility, teamwork, perseverance, leadership, and confidence. Thank you for your time and your service to our district.
Thank you. Without objection, the May 18th, 2026 and the June 8th, 2026 board meeting minutes will be approved. All right, and Ms. Lake is unfortunately not with us to give us the legislative update.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
she gave me her
She
copy.
gave you? Oh, okay, I apologize, Ms. Gray. All right, would you share it with us?
Okay, the first item is the compromise on the parental leave bill. Paid parental leave will expand from 2 weeks to 4 weeks for school district employees designated as the secondary caregiver or co-parent following the birth of a child or stillbirth under a compromise measure unanimously approved by lawmakers Thursday. Paid parental leave for the birth parent did not change and remains at 6 weeks. Lawmakers returned to a special session to finalize remaining legislative work by considering vetoes and conference reports on the bills that had passed both chambers but required reconciliation of differences between the House and Senate versions. Once ratified, it will be sent to the governor for consideration. And secondly, the Budget Committee will meet Tuesday. The Senate Finance Committee Chair, Harvey Peeler, announced that the Conference Committee, tasked with resolving differences between the House and Senate versions of the FY 26-27 State Appropriations Bill, and that's Bill number H5126, will meet at 11 a.m. Tuesday. Peeler told senators that work on the budget had been delayed by the congressional redistricting debate, as well as the primaries and runoff elections. He said negotiations would return to budget talks next week, and that he is hopefully optimistic that the committee would have a final proposal ready for lawmakers to consider soon.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. All right. Anybody have a question, Mr. Gray? We will now move to our action item. Mr. Haven, the second reading of our 2026-2027 budget.
Madam Chair, Dr. Anderson, members of the board, I present you tonight for second reading the FY 27 budget. As stated in the public hearing, the budget highlights: teachers receive $2,000 per step per sale plus a step. All other district staff receive a step on their respective scale. A $600,000 increase in facilities and maintenance to make up the increased cost for utilities and custodial costs. Suspending 2 senior level positions at the district office, they'll save $205,000, and a projected use of fund balance of $1.57 million. And actually, after revenues of $77,411,899 and expenditures of $78,300,899, that's a use of fund balance of $569,315.
Do we have a motion to approve the budget for second reading?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Second. Ms. Templin is the second. All right, any discussion?
Madam Chair, I object to this budget for the reasons I stated in the public hearing, and that is that we are acknowledging that we're going to lose about $1.5 million in the year that we're currently in, and we had projected $530,000 more. This year we're going into it. We did do a bare bones budget where we would save $654,000, which would bring it under $1 million in a deficit earlier on in a budget work session. But I know that everybody wanted to include the things they wanted not to. But I just, in the public hearing, I'm not going to go over everything I did, but the climate in South Carolina, especially from a funding level, is something everybody needs to be aware of. We know what we've seen them do with charter schools lately, and we know that there's talk now of eliminating sales tax and cutting property tax, and that always hits us first. So my vote will not that I disagree with anything we're doing personnel-wise, I just think it's too big a deficit, which would end up being our baseline for next year's budget, which really puts us in the hole.
I value your comments, Mr. Bledsoe. I don't disagree with them. Maybe I don't think that the deficit will be quite as big a monster in the coming year that maybe you do.
And I would, kind of piggyback off what Mr. Ray said. I think that Dr. Anderson, administration, as well as us on the board, will be looking throughout the next year at many different ways that we can trim the budget, because you're right, the bulk of our budget year after year is personnel. And so we've got to provide what our students need in the classroom, but at the same time, we've got to look at every dollar.
I was just gonna say that I piggyback off what you said and, what, Mr. Gray said, and also I value anything that Mr. Bledsoe says.
I think the board is committed to looking at everything, and we've discussed it a number of times, just to see where we do not cut services for students, but where we can tighten up and look at getting to a budget that we can all swallow a little easier. And it's something that we've been committed to. We've looked at different ways. We had to get a little tight on this year, and I think that moving forward, we will be able to get us where it doesn't hurt and where it still services the students that we need to service.
We have a motion and a second to approve this 2026-2027 budget for second reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
No. Did you go? All right, so the budget did pass, what, 5 to 1. Ms. Lake was not here too. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. All right, Dr. Carey with our textbook adoptions.
Hi, good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. In your packet, there were a list of 5 resources that the district would like to adopt for the coming school year. Most of these are new courses or courses that we're adding at the Career Center. So there's not been a big adoption this year for each content area, but these are based on courses that will be offered in the coming school year. And they have been vetted and selected by the teachers.
Dr. Carey, do we know how many people are interested in these classes?
It would be listed in Power School when they put in the course requests, but I don't have that information.
But I presume that they're based on some sort of interest.
Yes.
Are those top 3 offered in our high schools, Dr. Carey, or is that in our Career Center?
Those are Career Center.
That's what I thought.
Do we currently have a U.S. government and civics textbook? Is it an additional textbook or a switch?
No, we have a U.S. government or an American government course that is different from this. This is based on civics. We have not offered civics in some time. We're deciding to offer it this year.
Very timely.
Do we have a motion to approve the adoption of this textbook?
I so move.
You have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, and I believe I'm next. And it is my pleasure to have Ms. Laura Clark, our District Fine Arts Coordinator, come forward and share the update for this year in arts in the school district of Newberry County. And she does a fantastic job, wearing a lot of hats and helping to continue to promote the arts and get a lot of funding for our district. So without any further delay, I'm going to turn it over to her.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Anderson. Thank you for having me tonight. We have a okay. Sorry, I just flew in for my son's wedding on the other coast, so I'm a little off. There. Okay, so each year, as you all know, I try and give you an update of what's happening in the arts and what things we've added. And I'm happy to say we've got more exciting and wonderful things happening in the arts, and this is the start of my 5th year here, so thank you for continuing to support the arts. One of the things in this picture is our district art teachers learning felting from an artist. So one of the things that when I came on board, the teachers wanted was more specific content, professional development that pertain to their arts. And so that's something that we've been working on, and that is something that is funded through our district musical. I bring in artists every year to help develop their skills and their content areas. So this was taking place at the Newberry Arts Center, one of our community partners. So the arts, obviously, you know they make a difference, and some of the things we've been like expanding. Dr. Farmer out at Mid-Carolina High School has really done a wonderful job with our jazz band, and so they hosted and played at our new facility, the new Newberry Arts Center. And so that was wonderful, and they came out and played along at our district art show. Our art show has always been held at the Newberry Arts Center. However, they just opened their new building this year and was dedicated, and it is amazing. So if you haven't had a chance to go see it, please stop in. It is really something to behold. And so we're able to up our student attendance and the selection for our art shows from 15 per school to over 30. So that's been like more recognition for our students. So I wrote the District Arts Support Grant last year, for this year, and for next year. It's a 2-year grant. It's $50,000. We get $25,000 from the South Carolina Arts Commission each year. And that money, we've had a lot of grants, probably totaling over $400,000 in grants since I've come on board, and a lot of that has gone to arts integration and some different things, but this money was specific to, I wrote this grant in order to bolster our art program. So each art teacher received $800 to bolster their programs and buy supplies for their students that they just was just a little bit above what they normally get. So they were able to bring in some new things for their students. So the first $25,000 was this year, and this year we'll be getting another $25,000, and then I will write this grant. This is a reoccurring every 2 years, so I will write this grant again this year, coming year, for the following 2 years. District-wide collaboration, you all know that this is something near and dear to my heart, was a way for us to expand our arts, and so I was able to, when I came on board, I just saw some opportunities in our Career Center, and that's been growing every year. This year we brought in 3D printing, and so we're just super excited with our partnership with the Career Center. So the welding, now the construction, now 3D printing, and yes, I have an idea for this year. So there'll be more expansion in that for our district musical. So we're super excited. Highlights and accomplishments. We have amazing art teachers, both in our band and our art, our visual arts and our chorus and elementary music and art. Like, I just can't say enough. We just have such amazing teachers in our community teaching and bringing the arts to our kids. And so, our bands across our schools had student placing in all state competitions. And so I've listed these here for you. So these students have been recognized for these. All our programs in band are excelling and working hard, and we're really proud of them. We also had highlights and accomplishments across the visual arts. They had many students selected at the South Carolina State Fair. So every year there's art posted there. So Little Mountain, Boundary, Prosperity, Riker, Whitmire, Reuben all had students. And Prosperity Riker also had a student from the South Carolina Art Education Association, had a Youth Art Month show for each region. And a student, Jaden Walker at PRE, took first place in the elementary competition for that central region. And actually that is, let's just say such an awesome thing. So we're super excited about that. We also have one of our teachers, Dr. Talbot, became Dr. Talbot this year. She's the music teacher at Newberry Elementary, but she is now moving over to Little Mountain. So we're super excited for them. Our district-wide collaboration continued. We did Shrek this year. And so that is, we also had our first collaboration. When I came on board, I brought that district musical to bring collaboration across our schools, hoping that that would spread. Well, it did. And so our middle and high school teamed up, used their grant money to buy the rights for Newsies. And that was our first middle and high school. So we're super excited about that. That is going to continue. That is actually going to be Little Mermaid this year. So the middle and the high school are going to be putting on the Little Mermaid in the fall. And then we'll have our district musical, which is going to be Alice in Wonderland. And so that is coming in the spring, in March, with our amazing partner, the Newberry Opera House. We've also had a theater class out at Mid Carolina High School, which has grown from 8 students to now next year we have 26 students who are interested in signing up to do it. So they learn a lot of the behind the scenes and a lot of hands-on, and it's been very well received. The kids just really like it. I work alongside with those students, so that makes me happy. I really love working with the kids, so keep that going. We had 2 of our sculptures come into our schools this year. We had, that was for a grant that I wrote the year before for the DAP grant. They were installed this past September, and that was the eagle at Reuben and then the bee at Boundary. So we're super proud of those. Engaging Creative Minds. So last year we were selected by Engaging Creative Minds for a free arts integration camp for 70 of our students. Well, they loved us so much that they selected us again this year, and they gave it to 100 of our students. So 100 of our students just finished a month of free arts integration and STEM and STEAM camp at Goldman. So we're really, really excited and very proud of that. They did each week was a theme. They did earth, wind, water, and fire. We had, as I said in the beginning, we try and bring content specific. So we had a lot of artists come in for our visual arts. We had Cecilia Ho. Band teachers had Scott Rush come for PD on instructional practices. Music teacher had PD with Cody Jones from Jackson Creek Elementary. And our strategic arts plan that is very committed to the content-specific professional learning each year for our arts educators. So that is written in our strategic arts plan to build on that. So we continue, we've already met a lot of our goals in our strategic arts plan. So this year we'll be revamping it and trying to set some additional things that we'd like to accomplish in the coming years for our 5-year plan. Professional learning for myself as well. So I was selected as PSC's Arts Administrator of the Year, which I'm super proud of, and I'm very honored that they recognized me. I also presented with some 2 of our principals at the Arts Now. South Carolina Arts Commission asked me to present at their retreat this year. Arts and Forum Day, I am on the Arts and Education Task Force, which rewrote that narrative that hadn't happened in 10 years. And I did present at the Gifted and Talented Consortium Conference. And I just finished the week before I had to leave to go to the wedding as a master teacher at Winthrop University that I was asked to present at as well. And I was the keynote speaker at the JAI Arts Leadership Conference in May. So this is our strategic arts plan implementation for year 2, the things that we've accomplished this year, which many of which I've really already said. I just wanted to, that is there for you to review. And then things we have and we're planning for our coming year, which is to continue working on our curriculum, pacing guides, and resources that align with the district instructional delivery model. This has been something we have known that we've needed, and so we need to keep that going. It's not something that happens overnight. To align a curriculum and to do all that is a several-year process. We just started this year, so we'll be moving into year 2, and I can't even tell you like how amazing our teachers are. Like music's already, like all of them have already started. They're working hard at it. This is important. They know it's important for our students to have this, to have that consistency across our program. So. But as we get that and it starts to, take form, we will certainly share that with you, but it is still a work in progress right now. I'm offering professional learning support for alternative certification and art educators once a month this coming year. I feel like that's like something that we really, my teachers need. We're going to review and revise our district arts plan, complete some action steps, and then I will write the district arts support grant for $50,000. And then we have something very cool happening, Arts Year, and Arts Now are going to be at Newberry Elementary School. So we're very excited that Arts Now, Artist Year, reached out to me from up north and said that they want to move into the South, and they did some research and read all these things about Newberry and said, hey, we'd like to bring in an artist into your school. So Newberry Elementary has been gracious enough to, thank you, Jessica, to do that. And then on top of that, the Arts Now, which is, we have that Partners for Arts Integration in four of our schools right now, just ended for the middle school and the high school after 3 years of a grant. And Boundary and Reuben are still with Arts Now. Well, Arts Now just received, and I think that's my next slide, so I'll hold off on that. And then Arts Now is an artist that's going to come in and work with Newberry Elementary. They're going to bring in just a person for the year who'll just help supplement and provide extra art experiences for our students. We're super excited about that. I think this is, oh, no, okay, I thought it had a slide on it. I do not. Okay, so the Arts Now, this is like really amazing. They were selected, Arts Now got $4 million, just about $4 million for arts integration for 6 schools. And Newberry, they called me and said, we want Newberry, are you interested? Of course I said yes. And so they selected Newberry Elementary to receive that. Those students will be getting books to take home. It's a literacy arts integration grant. And so they will be getting arts integration for the next 5 years, along with books to take home, books for the school. This is a very, very big deal, and we are super honored that Arts Now has selected us. And that's it. And there's Alice in Wonderland. We've already put out our details. We are in full planning for next year for our district musical. That's about it. Any questions for me?
I have one.
Yes.
Arts for art's sake is sufficient to me. I believe we should provide the opportunity for students, because just like the young person who wants to be a scientist, or the person who wants to be an accountant has to learn science and math, I think the young person who wants to be in the arts field needs to get an early start. So for that reason, arts for the sake of arts is sufficient. But I think arts also impact other not curricula, but other studies as well. Can you talk a little bit about what other impacts the arts have on other subjects in school?
Well, arts integration is very impactful for every subject in it. But it also, the arts has such a huge implication in the medical world. My mother has passed away from Alzheimer's and had dementia, and like the implications of the things that they use with music and things for her, like arts is very powerful, and it does touch every single curriculum out there. And so if you get a chance to go to some of our schools that are going through the arts integration, the arts is just another way to learn. It's another way to get the core curriculum in an engaging way that just invites students and it empowers them. If you have a chance to see it, I mean, I just got goosebumps thinking about it, because I've seen it impact kids. I've seen it keep kids in school. It keeps kids in high school who just really, maybe that the academics isn't really their thing, but maybe the arts is the thing that helps them, connects them to it. But it has the ramifications. I mean, I could get you studies on it, but it really is just very impactful. But I think the way I see it in benefiting Newberry is this arts integration that we've been going down and all this experience. It's increasing engagement, and it's helping our teachers understand how to engage and move their students forward in any core class that we have, because we've done this across all our elementary schools, we've done this across middle schools, across our high schools, so we have seen it impact. But it is the arts in itself. Like, I don't know, there's probably a person out there that doesn't listen to the radio driving down the road, or like the music and the band, and as we had someone speak tonight, it makes an impression and it makes an impact, and the arts should always be like part of education and be strong and be a partner in the core curriculum.
Well, just to jump on what you were asking, Mr. Gray, I can remember songs, Beatles songs and children's songs, especially with the early childhood. Sometimes you teach them the seasons, you teach them the months of the year, you teach them math facts through songs. They may not get it another way, but they're singing these things in their head. And when something comes on that I heard 50 years ago, I might not have sung it before, it's in there. And so if you can reach children in a different matter, rhythm is also math. I mean, when you teach reading music, you're teaching quarter, half, you're teaching money, you're teaching fractions. So if you've done it, you know it works.
Mr. Cromer, at the Newberry Arts Center opening, I spoke to Mr. Cromer, our okay, it just went out of my head, sorry. Senator, sorry. And we had a talk, and he shared a story with me how music impacted him as a kid. And he said, I wasn't that good at it. He said, but my music teacher believed in me. So I think that I agree with you. The arts from a very young, there's a reason we play music and do rhythm and stuff with babies and toddlers and things, because it is a way to learn, and I don't think there's an age limit for that.
Ms. Clark, recently we've been reminded by some band parents of how important band is, and it seems to me like band and music ought to be at the top of our arts list. Where are you in support of their request for PE credit for marching band? And I wondered if you had done anything to move that forward.
I have. So when I first came on board, I looked into this we looked into this 4 years ago when I came on board, and I actually revisited this year, and I spoke to the State Department about it. Obviously, we want our students to have every experience, but there's a little more to it than just giving credit for someone who is in band. It's extremely complicated, and it's important to know that there's a process, and the process isn't really just about the application. I do hope that one day we will be able to do that, but the circumstances need to be right, because you have to have a teacher who can teach both curriculums. They have to be able to do both. And the State Department this year is actually auditing their schools to make sure and ensure that all districts are following this criteria, because there is a criteria and it's not simple, because it has to be dual taught. It's kind of like arts integration. Our teachers have been going through like learning how for the last 4 or 5 years. It's something that we have to teach, but we have had turnover in our band programs since I've come on board. I'm thankful. We have some steady coming down the road for us, but that is a lot to put on a first-year teacher in band, to ask them to learn not only master their craft, but also now we are asking you to learn another curriculum as well. So it's not something that we're taking lightly. It is something we would love to see, but it has to be set up and make sure we're doing it successfully for our teachers, and make sure we're not overwhelming any new teachers. And so my hope is that we will get to that point, and it is something that we're working on and working towards. We just haven't arrived yet.
So it's a lot more than just letting the band director be the PE teacher.
Yes, it is a lot more than that. And it's because you have to teach 2 curriculums. There's also a health component, it's a scheduling component in the school. Like, it's not just a matter of if you take band, you get credit. It doesn't work that way. And that is, some do think that is what it is. It is not. I have looked deep into it, and I have worked with the State Department, like talking to them about it, because I asked my first year here, it was something the band teachers would like and would like to see happen. But they also understand that this is not something we should take on lightly, because we will be held accountable to it, and we need to make sure that we're doing it with fidelity and doing it appropriately. And so I just want to set us up for success. So my hope is that we will.
I had never heard that, so I thought that sounds like a super easy request. But apparently, somebody told me that the health part of the PE credit could be done online. Are you saying that would it be 2 different teachers, or a band instructor would have to have a certification? Or
that would depend on scheduling, and that would depend on who they have in their. I do not know the full health part of it, because I do know that the school, like each school has had to do it differently, and I don't know how they schedule that for their schools. So that would be something each, because all our high schools are very different and everybody, you know, handles things probably how they have to handle it based on their, you know, their positions in-house. So I do not know exactly that component of it, but you have to be able to teach both your band and the PE curriculum. Yes, you would, that is an integration, and if you ask anyone who's learned, it is not something that new teachers are taught. They do not know how to integrate yet. That is something that is skilled, and even I will tell you, a veteran teacher, it would take them a while to learn how to master both.
I noticed that you had highlighted in here that our band's placed at all state competition, and there was a sheet circulating, and I was privy to it, that showed how far we had declined in some of our all-region competition. Have you seen that?
I have. I mean, you know, again, we have had a high turnover in our band departments. We went a year without one at Newberry High School. We've had 3 in the past, since I've been here, in the 4 years at Mid-Carolina High School, we've had a different band. I mean, it's just, and there's a lot of different reasons for it. We have, you know, our schools, we have dual enrollment, we have the Career Center. It's not, we have small schools, we have small enrollment numbers. There's just not one factor that can say to that, you know. I mean, COVID came along, things changed, the landscape changed for all of us, but, and I'm not saying that COVID is the reason, that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there are so many factors involved that I really couldn't tell you that there's one reason why that there's a decline in that, but we're working on keeping our band teachers, and we're working on the things that we can control. I'm a so what now what kind of girl. So I focus on what I can control, and what we can control is providing our teachers with every resource, trying to give them as much as they can, and also providing them the professional development they need to build into being a crafted, skilled teacher.
I appreciate all you do. I'm just trying to educate myself. I was fairly ignorant about it when you started talking to us, so I'm just learning as I go.
I am as well.
I think you mentioned in one of the next 2 years, I don't see where it is now, but I thought I read it, that one of the focuses on instruments.
Yes. Yes, so the $50,000 that I will write next year, that we will receive then in 27, 28, that money is going directly, that is not going to each individual program.
Okay.
That will be going to district resources that we need. We are coming to a point, we have to start replacing instruments and band uniforms and these things. We looked at getting locked storage for just our 5 schools. So I got a quote on that. That came back at $360,000. That's a lot of money for 5 schools, but you have to lock up your instruments or they're going to walk away. That's just a fact of what's happened. You know, if you don't lock them up, these are instruments that are thousands and thousands of dollars. So we're trying with what we have. What I can do is write a grant to help supplement for some of the bigger ticket items that I know that you will have to put into the budget, but I can write a grant that will buy maybe some flutes. And so that's the money. Our kilns are starting to break down. So I'm going to write that grant so we can buy some new kilns for the schools that need it, because a kiln is anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 just for one kiln. So those are they need repair, those type of things. We need risers for our schools. So that $50,000 I will write is going to go towards replacing some of those bigger ticket items that they cannot afford per school.
Are our choruses growing, the number of people participating in our choruses, do you know?
I don't think it's declined, but it has stayed the same. I mean, our choruses, probably they're a little smaller but a lot of it is scheduling, and that is a factor. I'm gonna be honest, the 4-block schedule is not as good as an AB schedule is for the arts. I knew when I came on board, I said that, and 4-block is our non-negotiable, like we're doing that, and I love that, and I know the benefits to the 4-block, but it does have, unfortunately, it is harder to schedule things for the arts without an availability of a skinny schedule, which is that AB, and that, to get kids that, to work in their schedules. These kids they're all well-rounded. They're going to the Career Center, they're doing Piedmont, they want to do the arts. I mean, there's just only so many hours in a day that we can accommodate. So we're doing our best with that, but scheduling is one of the things. But I don't think it's necessarily declined our numbers in chorus. I will say chorus is smaller, for sure, in our numbers, in our schools, but band is certainly, has higher numbers.
And I was away this year and last year, unfortunately, for both of the spring plays. Does the band participate in that? Is there music provided by our students for these performances, or?
Yes, so when we did Wizard of Oz, that was students, we wanted an all live band.
Okay.
So teachers and students were offered to have that position. We did not move forward with it again, given the time commitment and given that, our students are super committed to a lot of other things. And so between jazz band and, that's a huge competition season as well. And so they just can't compete. And I wouldn't want to take their competition for that. So it's certainly not something we're mandating, but we are always open to, I have asked every year if any student or anyone wants to participate in the musical, they are more than welcome to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Good evening again. I'm before you today to reference the third grade retention report in your packet. And as you can see, we had 77 third graders qualify for summer reading camp, and that's district-wide. 54 of those were good cause exemptions, and then 58 attended summer reading camp and enrolled. And you can see here by school how many qualified, how many good cause exemptions there were, and how many attended summer reading camp. And students were, whether they had an exemption or not, were encouraged to attend. But ultimately that decision is up to the parent. Okay. And then you may be asking, why are some students exempt from retention? Our multilingual learners, they have limited English proficiency, so if they've had less than 2 years of time and instruction in English, then they receive a good cause exemption. Our students with disabilities receive an exemption as well, especially if their disability is such that they qualify for an alternative assessment, but even those who have been identified can also qualify. Students who've been retained in a previous grade can be exempt, and then any student who demonstrates grade level reading proficiency on an approved alternate norm referenced assessment, which would again be mostly our students with disabilities, they are exempt from retention as well. And I know that there was some interest in graduation rate, but those calculations are still happening at this time. Our principals are still doing updates from extended semester on students who were recovering credit. Also, that can include students who've been in adult education and are doing some things over the summer. So those numbers do not finalize until late July, early August. So I do not have graduation rate data to share. It looks very promising, I will tell you that, better than it has continuing to track upward, but we can't share what those exact numbers are at this time.
Dr. Carey, do you have any information on the students that took the summer last year, which we got scores in their fall and whatnot, how they are doing? Do we follow the ones who have gone to reading camp and see the trajectory? Have they maintained any gains that they've made during the summer throughout the year?
We have not put that information together, no.
But there has to be some type of tracking, because one of the exemptions is previously retained
Right.
people or students.
Right.
I see that this is sourced as the South Carolina Department of Education, Read to Succeed. So are these 4 exemptions placed on us, or is that something that we can decide?
They're, for the most part, placed on us. Because if a student has one of those legally, for the district not to award that or honor that could put us in a situation legally. Now, if the parent doesn't mind and is for it, and we have those situations where parents are, no, I want my student retained, then that's different. But no, we don't have that kind of latitude.
An exemption for being previously retained, it just sounds counterintuitive to me.
It does, but when you look at the data on students who've been retained, especially if you've been retained twice by third grade, those students have a much stronger path to dropping out and becoming criminals. If you look at the data, the more a student is retained, the less likely that student is to graduate from high school.
So I heard we had a simultaneous program going on at Dahlman with a STEAM type program.
The arts, yes, the one Ms. Clark just referenced.
Yes. Was that well attended? Somebody told me around 100 people.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yes,
Okay.
100.
So, the success of the summer program, we will know, do they have an exit test? Do they get?
Yes,
like,
they
the
do.
IReady?
They do iReady to see where they are, because that's also a form of good cause exemption if they attend. Then, and they get a score of 489 or higher on the reading portion of iReady, then that qualifies them to be promoted.
Right.
And they can also use DRC Beacon, which is another assessment that the state provides that can have a student show that he or she has met the criteria to be promoted to third grade. So we do test them to see who meets the threshold and who doesn't.
Have they been tested yet, or no?
They were tested last week.
Do we know those?
Well, the principals know, and they're filling out the retention forms and meeting with parents. I did not have that information by Wednesday when the packet was due, because we were still testing.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Carey, before you go, I wanted to thank you for your years of educating me. If you get tired of dumb questions, just come on back anytime. I'll ask you some, but thank you for all you've done. You've always gone over and above anything we asked when we had questions about it, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. You've always been very transparent in your questioning, and I appreciate that. You're very easy to answer questions for.
Thank you.
Is that collective?
Yeah. Well, yeah. For the most part. You had to go there.
I did.
Did you answer the question?
Why not?
Let me go out with a bang. All right. I will queue it up for financial updates at this time.
Good evening again, Madam Chair, Dr. Anderson, members of the board. I'm here to present you with the May cash flow report. All right, we started the month with $24.28 million, and after deposits of $7.48 million and claims of $7.22 million, we end the month with $24.5 million. And in the month in the cash flow report, you'll see a lot of federal program stuff. That was our third quarter federal claims. That was $1.3 million. All right, going on to the cash flow by fund, you can see how that $24.5 million sits with our different general funds, federal projects, CIAs, and other state restricted grants. All right, we had no tech construction expenditures for the month of May. All right, going to your revenue. For our general fund, we had revenue of $5.7 million. And we only have $5 million left in our budget, but I'm projecting we're going to be over in revenue by about $500,000. Right. In our expenditures, we had expenditures of $6.18 million, and you can see all that encumbrance, all those encumbrances over there. We're probably not going to spend all that, so you'll see some of that deleted out by the end of June. But then don't forget that we still have July accrual payrolls for our non-year-round employees. So there will be some payroll expenses after June 30th. Are there any questions? All right, I'm going to go over to FY 2026 budget transfers at this time. All right, attached to your packets are the general fund budget transfers for FY 26. And board policy DBJ that establishes the basic structure for enactment. Our intent is to include the transfers in Department of Finance staff reports for the upcoming meeting. If there are specific questions concerning any transfers, I'll try to answer them at this time. That's not on the PowerPoint, but.
I just want to thank you for taking my calls.
You're welcome.
About money things, and I appreciated you describing what all this meant, this, especially because I've only seen this once before, and I couldn't figure out what it was about, but you explained it very genius.
Yeah. Appreciate it. All right, and we're going to go to our operations update, if there are no questions. All right. Come on, Clyde.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Anderson. Just give you a work order update to start with. We had 88 new requests, completed 541. Average age is 8 days, and the total open is 226 with an average age of 32 days. Like I told y'all, got me?
I got you.
All right, good. I told y'all that in the summer y'all gonna see those numbers go skyrocket. So we got a lot of work orders to do throughout the district. So once school starts back after a month or so, you'll see those numbers drop back down. So I don't want you to be alarmed at the number of work orders there. Next thing we'll discuss is I'll give you an update on the tennis court. Underlay and gravel has been put down and asphalt has been installed for all 4 courts. Poles for lighting and fencing are all installed, and the fence is going up. I was up there last Wednesday because we had to get our stuff in. The fencing may already all be up right now. Sidewalks have started being poured, and they actually have some steps already poured from some pictures I seen today. So key issues that they've had, they lost 22 days, Mar Construction lost 22 days on the project due to the weather. And I was telling some of y'all earlier, we discussed it, it was because of the, we have a field density report that's done. And once, it's not necessarily it rained that day, but it may take 4 or 5 days for the ground to be back where they can work on it. So we have a field required compaction of greater than 95%, and they test that until they can get back to work. So just want to let you know why I moved the date on that a little bit on completion. But the goal is sometime first part of September. So any questions on the Whitmire tennis courts? When does the season start?
Our first home game is the first week of September.
Mm-hmm. They're doing what they can. They're trying. So
all the fencing
yes.
is already up. Like I went out there today, it's beautiful.
They steady putting it down.
What's the backup plan if something else happens and we aren't ready to go with courts?
Coach Addis has already talked to the 2 schools that we have, those 2 weeks of them, so we can swap theirs and just swap the dates, so we'll make it work.
And does the loss of the 22 days affect the budget at all?
No, sir. No, sir. And I did add some pictures of the Mid-Carolina tennis courts, the work that's going on there, and the Newberry tennis courts. They've basically completed the Mid-Carolina tennis courts, the resurfacing of that, and they are steady working on the Newberry when it just had it was in a lot worse shape. So they're steady on it, and it will be completed before school. So, any other questions on?
Mid-Carolina's tennis courts, beautiful.
Yes.
That blue just stands out.
Yes, I know. I'm gonna tell you, when they painted them blue, I rode by there that morning, I saw them, and I was like, oh my God, they painted them blue. I had to go back to the old GPS pictures to see that they were blue originally. So I was worried to death that they were supposed to paint them like that cardinal color they have or something.
Yeah.
But no, they were actually blue originally. So. I sort of got scared. I was,
you can't miss it. It's like
no, it stands out.
It's like boom.
Yes, and I'm hoping Newberry in a few weeks is going to look identical to them.
Blue? Are they doing it blue?
I think everything. Yeah, I think that's what they agreed on. So. But
It's
yes,
gonna
if,
look like Mid Carolinas, that is beautiful.
yeah, they do look good. Any other questions? Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Sir, Mr. Livingston. Any, information on our janitorial status? That's a question.
What'd you say, no, sorry?
Any updates on our bud group, anything?
I talked to them today, they got a little bit behind, but they've added extra crews to get caught up, so. Yep.
Well, the report that we have here looks like everything's going better.
Yes.
Except for Newberry L, and so I just want to shout out about that, because I used to shout out about that when we had the other company, and they're the only ones that are not. Their scores are the lowest, wherever it went here.
Two and five.
Yeah, I want to, whoever communicates with the budget,
Yes,
please
ma'am.
let them know, we're looking at Newberry L, because there's no
Okay.
reason that one school should not be getting the same cleaning, experience or outcome as the other schools, so.
Okay, okay.
During June, I was out at Newberry Elementary a couple times about some of the issues they've had there, and I've met with their regional person and walked to school about some of the issues they've been having. So we're trying to resolve that issue at that school. They've had a couple incidents that they are gonna fix, but we're hoping it gets better. But we are constantly on them about it. Miss Sheila is, and I've actually met with them a couple times myself.
Otherwise, I'll have to go like this to the bud group.
Just wanted to add that as a comment.
Thanks.
All right, Mr. Earl is out of town this evening, so if you have any questions, I'll be happy to field those questions or relay them so we can get back to you with response. Any questions regarding this update? No? Okay. Move on. Madam Chair? All right. I do want to take a moment and just thank our grounds and maintenance crew, Mr. Livingston, as well, you and your team, all of our high school principals, our adult ed director as well, for the graduations that took place at the end of May. Well done. The facilities were nice. Everything was in place. Took a lot of work behind the scenes, but again, each graduation was wonderful and job well done to them. I just want to say that publicly to them. Okay. Also, I want to thank Mr. Haven and his team, along with our district leaders and our school leaders, for the work that went behind the scenes with preparing during budget season. Okay? I want to thank you all too as a board. Great questions, great comments. This is my 13th year working through a budget season, and I've yet to have or experience one without challenges, unique challenges. But at the end of the day, the wonderful thing is we do what we can do, all that we can do to keep our students first and to try to take care of our employees as best as we can, based upon the unique challenges that we have every year. Again, no budget season is the same, but congratulations to all of you for just working through it and staying focused on our students as well as our employees, and I really appreciate that. Okay. Last but not least, just 3 announcements. Ooh, believe it or not, our teachers return. Teachers return on July 29th, so the time is winding up. We're having our district convocation on July 31st at Mid Carolina High School this year, and then our students will be back in rare form, ready to rock and roll with us on Wednesday, August the 5th. Any comments or questions? Anything?
What time is the convocation?
What time does the convocation start? Normally
8:30.
8:30? 8:30. Okay?
And do you-
We'll have some more information coming out too then. I'll send you that. Okay? Madam Chair, turn it back over to you.
If there's no further business, this